Here's the replacement LCD for my LG V30. It has a suction cup for removing the display. Plastic things to remove the back side. This has a thin side there. 3M adhesive. We have these objects to lift the case of the phone. Some screwdrivers. That was a Phillips head, this is a flat head, and a star, like a nimbus. And here's the display itself. It is for LG V30 Plus, which is that phone. It has another adhesive. Let's open up this. There's another layer. And this should have the LCD. It should have that digitizer, which transforms the analog signal, the touching, into digital signal, I guess. It has this black plastic frame also. Here we have the connectors, one and another one. Here's the display. It has a foil on it. It has two big bubbles. It says the LCD with the black frame. The LCD itself is just a thin paper thickness. Is this one with that copper like looking material on it. That's the display. Okay, so that's the phone. Let's take it apart somehow. The glue was already kinda destroyed, so I can lift it up with my hand. Okay, it has some components on it. That button with the fingerprint reader. We have the battery. We have to take apart this portion. So it has 1, 2, 3 screws for this part. Take that off. A magnet would be good, not to lose the screws. Now remove these screws. To remove this part, the foil is on it, this black one. So the screws are removed. This phone was taken apart already, that's why it's being taken apart that easily. The display already comes off. It is held by a connector here and a connector down here somewhere. It has to be this one because it's here. Lift up that one. Like so. The next one is this, which is placed down, so it is this large one. Lift it up. Okay, now this is the battery and here's the connector, so remove the power. We should remove the battery. That was also removed already, otherwise it's full of glue there. Okay, now we have to remove the motherboard. I lost my front camera. I don't have a clue where it is, so I will not have a front camera on this phone. Frame is there and another frame is here, so I have to use that frame, not this one, because the connectors, this and that one, is on that one. So I should remove the motherboard. Let's remove that screw and these two. That screw is smaller, so this one has a smaller screw. These screws are black. That's another difference. Maybe the size is different also. Yes, it's very short. Short black screws down here. We have another thing here. Lift it up. Motherboard. There's another one here. Move those two connectors, these bent things, away. Something seems to be holding it. Now let's remove this small door for the SD card. Use this needle, insert it into that hole, and there is a tiny hook there, and push it away. That pushed out this small door, and remove it. Now the motherboard comes off. So the old one has this heatsink thing that has to be placed here. It has the two buttons. Here on this side is empty. That's the old one, that's the new one. So I just lifted up this one. Only the right side was holding it. That's the USB port. This was holding it. That orange is rubber. Push it in. That should be good. I'll get those two small black screws and put them there. Okay, that remains there. That's from the monitor itself. That has to be pushed down, as I see, and twisted up. Just don't break it. Something like that. Now let's get this metal. It's not straight at all. Okay, I need some glue for this one. Here's this adhesive. I never used it, so let's try. It has a needle which goes in. And let's put it under this metal, which looks like a heatsink. It's liquid. This is not straight. I don't know how it will stay there. At least this part should stay there. Now let's try this one. I lifted up this connector on the left side and it moved a little bit. W10. Let's put a tiny amount of glue under that also. That should be okay. Now we have this one in the corner. I managed to move this a little bit from this side. It has this part which is held by a screw. The connector, those 4 or 5 are not moving yet. So I lifted it up with the flat head from this side. It is held by adhesive. It's still sticky, so I won't put any more under it. Now push it up. Push in that green rubber. Okay. Better don't use the metal. That should be fine. Now let's get that one, the speaker. So this part, not the one on the right, I managed to lift it up from the center and then from the left side. So put it below and hold it from the top and lift both. And that's it. Place the sticky lower part first. Push down the center and push down the top. That should be okay. Now the next one is the buttons. So this connector is here. I don't have the camera, unfortunately I lost it. That is missing. Now let's remove the button somehow. So here's the electric connector. It has a small gap on the right side. I lifted it up from there. Insert that flathead screwdriver below and push up this entire thing. And here it is. And the buttons are below. This is completely empty. You can see through it here at the buttons. So I just lifted up the metal. It's like a C letter. The buttons are moving. Can we just push them outside? Yes, from the center. Push that white center out. And the button comes out. And now this one is empty also. I'm not sure which one goes where. I suppose they are similar, identical. Just push it in. It has a small rubber also. It's not entering. Upside down. No, let's try the other hole. No. Upside down. Yes, it entered. Let's see this one. That entered. So if it does not enter into this one, try the other one. Now put this metal. There was some dust there. Just slide it in from above. Push those buttons slightly out. And push down this one from the top. Okay, and now here we have the contact. It's clicking. This also has to be inserted from the top. It entered. Now push down the contact and the buttons are clicking. Okay, so theoretically is ready. The camera is missing. These two are from the display. which is this one and that one. Now let's put the motherboard back. As I see, you don't need to disconnect this. That's the camera itself. So let's push it back. Don't forget this one on the top. This is also from the display. Push it gently down. I'm not sure what's here. Now let's place the battery. This has to be below. So push it down. Just don't break it. This one is under this motherboard and it comes out here on the right side. And now push it down there somehow. That's not too easy because the shape is slightly different. It was not bent yet. Okay, now connect that one. Let's put the battery. Okay, and introduce the connector. Battery is dangerous. Be very gentle with that connector. Ouch. Okay, so let's place a little bit of glue under that battery. Okay, now connect that one. Now let's put back this one. So the hole has to be on the lower side, is there. Now let's put back this one. Now put this one. Okay, and now the screws. I will insert just 2 screws up here to hold it and one down here, and then plug in the battery to see if it's working. Let's see if I just push the button. I think the battery is discharged, nothing happens. So plug in a USB and we have image 0%, so it's charging the battery. Okay, so till now it seems to be working. It has to be charged up a little bit and then introduce all of the screws and theoretically it should be okay. And as it's visible, the phone is fully functional. I mean, at least display wise. There's a problem with the camera. Camera error, camera unavailable. So this one is missing, the front camera, but it seems that the rear cameras are not working either. Internet is working, speakers are working, buttons are working, so we have to check the camera. Wi-Fi is working also. Okay, so the front camera is missing, I somehow lost it. And now this normal camera application is not working. It displays an error message in a few moments. Camera unavailable, camera error. Okay, so you cannot use it directly like so, but you have to tap and hold on it, and let's say Cine Video will work. If I click on that one, look, it's working and it is recording 1, 2, 3. That's one way how to get around it, and the other one is, I think, selfie camera. So tap and hold on it, and selfie camera. That displays both this normal camera and that wide angle camera, but the difference between them is very small, so I think it's using the wide angle camera in both modes. So let's cover one and we have image. Let's go to the next one and we still have image, so it's using the wide angle camera in both modes. Okay, so that's a workaround for this camera application problem. Of course you can also install, let's say, open camera. That worked for me, and in this one I can use the wide angle and the other camera using this icon. So it's not switching between the front and back cameras, but it's switching between those two rear cameras. That's the wide angle and that's the normal narrow camera.